This is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to give you an update of my Google Play suspension and talk about how the ground is always shifting underneath you. Alright, so the last video I did was last Tuesday where I told you about how Google Play had terminated my account. Now if you watch the live stream each week, you'll know that they did reinstate my account, but I kind of wanted to give you guys an update on that. However, so much has happened since then that my little account termination just seems small and insignificant considering the problems that the world is having at the moment. But anyway, just to go over it, yeah, about 2 days later, they did consider my appeal. They reactivated my account. However, all of my apps were marked as removed, and they told me, and this is true, they said, just go into the description of each app and put a space at the end and click update, and then that way it'll register as a change and it will go back through and republish itself, go back through the algorithm. So that's what we did. I got Rowena on my team. I said, could you just go through and put a space at the end of every description and hit update? And she's like, I don't know if I want to touch it because I don't want it to break anything. And I was like, I don't want to touch it either because I don't want to get suspended again. It's like we're too afraid to touch it because the algorithm might suspend it for whatever reason. And the strange thing is I've been talking to developers all week who have been sending emails and comments saying the same thing, like, dude, I've got 2 strikes against me. I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to, I'm too afraid to even make a keyword change. I'm too afraid to release an update, which is strange. There's a lot of us developers who are just kind of scared. We're kind of like, we don't want to change anything. However, everything that has happened in the last week has put things in perspective. Because for all those developers who said they don't want to change anything, like, they're a bit shell-shocked because they don't want to get suspended, or they have been suspended and reinstated, right? They don't want to change anything. I've also heard from a lot of people who said, yeah, this is why I don't do apps. I was going to do apps, but because of the kind of problems you're having, this is why I don't do them. And this kind of statement bothers me more than anything else because it's justifying inaction, right? I have nothing but admiration for somebody who puts something out there and they're having problems and the ground's shifting underneath their feet, or maybe they've been suspended and they're trying to appeal it and all this kind of stuff because they've done something. But for somebody to say, oh, that's the reason I didn't do anything, that's like, that's like me saying the reason I don't go out for a run is because I heard about this one guy who had a heart attack once, or yeah, the reason I don't go do this is because there was a story in the news that does that. One of the big myths about passive income, and something that I'm kind of learning as we go, is that you kind of hope it's going to be, I built something once and it continues making money forever. But that's never the case. The ground is always shifting underneath you. Like, I released my first app in 2012 and it started to make money, but the algorithms would change. Like the policies would change. We have GDPR, we have a target parent. Over the years, there's always been something we have to change, and we have to go through and do it. And I moan and I complain, but in the end, I have to do it. But it's the same as every single industry. Actually, there's something very draconian about the Google algorithm where it will just go through and suspend you, right? Just like take everything offline. I think that's draconian, right? There should be a lot more human interaction. But if there's one thing we've seen, like I said, this last week puts everything into perspective because every single business owner out there is thinking about what am I going to do with my business, right? If the economy slows down, if people stop going to work, if they stop buying things, if they stop spending money on apps, if they stop, like as software developers, I think we have it pretty good where we could still find work, we could still get jobs. Whereas if we were something like, if I was like a yoga instructor or something like that, I think I would be really panicked because, people might not go out. It's like a luxury type thing. It's like not a non-essential, right? So at least as software developers, we can. So some of the clients that I'm working for, we're just gonna be working from home. That's something we could do. And I think in this crisis where everything's closing down, and we're still at the beginning of it. I mean, I have no idea what's gonna happen. We're still at the beginning of it, but I do know that the companies that are going to make out from this are going to be Zoom, are going to be Netflix, they're going to be technology companies. And when people start looking at things, they're thinking, I can't have people come into work, I can't have people come into the office. How can I automate this, this, and this? And that's where we come into effect. That's where those skills you've you've acquired as actually someone who does something, who becomes a software developer, who becomes an app developer. That's where those skills come into effect, because they're transportable. You could go from being an app developer to working on mainframes or working on other systems, right? Because a lot of those skills are transferable, right? I wanted to talk about that, because never let somebody else's misfortunes, my misfortune with the Google Play Store, which by the way is over. Like the apps are back up there now. We've updated them. There's a few hitches, like some of the updates didn't go through, which we're dealing with. But never let somebody else's inaction stop you from action. Like I said at the beginning of this year, I don't want to be passive anymore. I want to produce. If you swing for the fences and you miss, at least you swung for the fences. If you produce an app and it's not doing as well as you hoped, you produce the app. You just have to keep working at it, right? But for everybody who's done that, for everybody who's created something and put something out there, there's a lot more people who are looking at everything out there thinking, I think I'm going to hold off because I heard that one story about what happened to Eric, or I heard that one story, whatever, right? The ground is always going to shift underneath you. Every business has to deal with it. Every industry has to deal with it, and we're no exception. Except the Google thing is draconian. Let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Yada, yada, yada. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.